one of the major issues, and it's a holdover from sort of colonial Victorian, is the issue of sexual preference in many African countries. In Kenya, to be gay, the LGBT community is illegal. They just want to have equal rights, the same privacy and equality as all other Kenyans do. Is that something that you aspire to for your country?
I want to be very clear, Christiana. I will not engage in a subject that is of no, it is not of any major importance to the people and the Republic of Kenya. This is not an issue, as you would want to put it, of human rights or this. This is an issue of society, of our own base as a culture, as a people, regardless of which community you come from. This is not acceptable. This is not agreeable. This is not about Uhuru Kenyatta saying yes or no. This is an issue that the people of Kenya themselves, who have bestowed upon themselves a constitution, right, after several years, have clearly stated that this is not a subject that they are willing to engage in, yeah, at this time and moment. In years to come, possibly long after I'm president, who knows? Maybe our society will have reached a stage where those are issues that people are willing, freely and open to discuss. I have to be honest with you. And that is the position that we have always maintained. Those are the laws that we have, and those are laws that are 100% supported by 99% of the Kenyan people, regardless of where they come from.
So I
it's a very
you're going to get yourself into trouble.
Mm.
Because what you've categorically just stated is that this is not an issue for us, for the Kenyan people,
yes.
And you don't think that the idea of their privacy, their equality, their rights is important.
This is,
but it's a global issue right now.
It's important to them where they are.
Why is it not
I am
important
saying
to you
that it
as
is
president
not
of the country?
Important to me as the leader of 49 million Kenyans. And after, if you want to ask me my personal opinion,
what is your personal opinion?
After I finish my process, I can talk about my personal opinion. But as the leader of the people of the Republic of Kenya, I represent that which our people are desirous to be. And I have no choice, but that is my position.
Would you publicly say that people who are LGBT, gay members of the Kenyan population should not be discriminated against, should not be violated, should not be abused?
No Kenyan should be abused, should be, mistreated in any particular. Every Kenyan is protected by law, every single Kenyan. But they also must recognize that their freedoms are also must be taken into the entire context of the society that they live in. Because this is not a question of governments accepting or not accepting. This is a question of society, right?
Currently,
Accepting,
it's a legal process.
Yes. And that legal process is based on the society that you live in, and that's why laws are made. So I think that's all I have to say about that particular.
Thank you. Mr. President, you were speaking about a modern Africa, and I'm here with the Bay Area Reporter, which is the LGBT newspaper. And for people who don't know what LGBT is, that's the gay and lesbian community. So I'm wondering, you've done so much for women in Rwanda, and they have so much power. I'm wondering, is the LGBT community a part of the future of Rwanda?
Well, I don't know if I understood what you just asked, but I guess I understand. I have understood. But LGBT.
Homosexuality.
Yes. It hasn't been our problem. And we don't intend to make it a problem. So we are struggling with all kinds of problems we have. And as I said earlier, we want to have everybody involved, participating. That means, as I said, being there for each other again is because we mind being supportive of each other, we mind the stability that comes with allowing people to live in harmony. And I think we've made good progress on that. So this far, since, as I said, that is not a big problem for us, I don't want to make it a problem.
Touching on an issue that has been the source of some international controversy, the LGBT issue, which in East Africa, many East African countries, has been controversial. Just recently, the neighboring country of Uganda introduced very draconian legislation, which caused quite an outcry internationally. Do you have a feeling that Uganda has gone too far with its legislation?
I am Kenyan, so I'm sure Ugandans can speak for themselves. I can only tell you about Kenya and what Kenya as a country and me as a leader, we've taken the position that the provisions of the Constitution as it is today, the provisions of the law as it is today, we allow other countries to do what they want to do. We cannot dictate to Germans or Americans or French or Ugandans on what they want to do. That's theirs to choose. For us as a country, we have taken a position, and that position is informed by our culture, our tradition, our constitution, and our laws.
But those laws do date back to the colonial era in some cases. And, critics outside would say, well, LGBT rights are an intrinsic part of human rights, which are internationally recognized. Do you recognize that? Do you see that the rights of LGBT people are intrinsically a question of human rights, which are universal, or do you feel that it is simply something that it is for each country to decide?
The Kenyan Constitution is a 2010 constitution. In fact, it was celebrated as the most progressive constitution, providing especially the chapter on human rights and the rights of people and the extent of the protection of rights of people that is enshrined in the Constitution. And in that context, in the formulation of that Constitution, the people of Kenya spoke expressly as to what kind of rights and to what extent everybody can enjoy their rights without infringing on the rights of others. In Kenya, the only understanding of relationships around marriage is around men marrying women. That's the context of a relationship that exists in Kenya and exists in our constitution and is provided for in our constitution. And it can happen elsewhere. We have no issue with people celebrating their issues in America and in other countries. That is their choosing.
Just very briefly, I mean, it was really just a blink of an eye also in Europe, in the United States, that marriage was only between a man and a woman as well. It's a very short time. Do you think that will never come in Kenya, or you think maybe it will just come but in a longer period of time?
I cannot tell you. I cannot stretch my imagination that far. maybe we can leave it here for now and see what happens in the future.
William.
What is your message to Western human rights groups, to President Obama,
respect,
to lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people?
Respect African societies and their values. If you don't agree, you just keep quiet. Let's manage our society the way we see. If we are wrong, we shall find out by ourselves. Just the way we don't interfere with yours.
Do you personally dislike homosexuals?
Of course, they are disgusting. What sort of people are they? How can you go? I never knew what they were doing. That's how I've been told recently that what they do is terrible, disgusting. But I was ready to ignore that if there was proof that that's how he's born, abnormal. But now the proof is not there.
We equally reject attempts to prescribe new rights that are contrary to our values, norms, traditions, and beliefs. We are not gays. Cooperation and respect for each other will advance the cause of human rights worldwide. Confrontation, vilification, and double standards will not.
We are saying no to homosexuality. Why should you say we're going to be civilized if we only allow it? Are you saying we are very primitive now because we are frowning upon homosexuality? Even animals don't do it. Why should we be forced to do it because we want to be seen to be smart, to be seen to be civilized and advanced and so on?
In our country is not an issue of the political party.
Not same-sex marriage. I'm talking about same-sex relationships. Never mind, we can put marriage to subs. I'm talking about same-sexual activity.
In our current constitution, it is banned.
Are you going to lead a campaign?
No, I will not lead a campaign.
Why not?
Those people who want that are the people who must canvass for such things, so that if they're able to win majority in amending the constitution, they would amend it. But it's not my duty on that issue to say I want to campaign for this. No.
Of course it is with respect, Mr. President, of course it's your duty. It's your duty to uphold human rights as recognised by the United Nations and as recognised by the countries.
It's my duty to obey my constitution.
Correct.
I would not be persuaded to violate my constitution. Currently, my constitution says what I have said. But the constitution does not forbid people with different opinions. They must canvass with the opinions which they have.
So I'm asking for your opinion, both as a man and as president. Are you in favour of changing the constitution on that issue?
No, I am not. It's never a priority in Zimbabwe to deal with that issue. During 2013, when everybody was able to canvass, those who canvassed for that position lost. We go by the majority view of our people. And currently, the majority view is what I am stating.
So you keep Zimbabwe in a different age. Never mind same-sex marriage, but in an age when the European Union, the United States, Australia recently enacted same-sex marriage, and pretty much your country is in a very small minority.
I don't think with my priorities today, I would grow my economy, right? Increase the standard of life of my people.